From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
A potential new revenue stream for farmers dealing with less than ideal farmland.
And it gives them a new opportunity to generate some income while staying totally in control.
Chip Flory takes us outdoors on the farm. A new push to fund clean energy in rural America. How your local rural electric co-op may play a part. And while planting is already past the halfway point in much of the country, in one state, it's just getting started.
Honestly, you can only go so fast.
As a deadline looms large on the horizon right now on AgDay. Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Farmers in North Dakota are finally starting to plant after late season and record snowfall hit the state. Bismarck coming close to breaking its all-time winter snow total record at just over 101 inches. And it's taking some time for all of that snow to melt away. That's why right now USDA reports just 5% of the corn crop in the state is planted. You can see that's well off the 5-year average of 26%. As for soybeans, still nothing planted. Usually farmers there are averaging about 2%. AgDay's Michelle Rook joins us, and Michelle, farmers there have a lot of work ahead of them.
That's for sure, Clinton. And while the weather is warmer and drier here in the northern plains this week, it follows a weekend of very heavy rains, especially in North Dakota. And that is continuing to push the talk of prevented plant acres this spring. The biggest concern is actually the spring wheat crop. Planting nationally is at 40% versus the 57% average, but both North Dakota and Minnesota trail the average pace by 26%. And with more rain in the forecast for later this week, that could mean not all the intended spring wheat acres will get planted.
For the last 10 days, we picked up close to 4 to 7 inches, depending on where you're at as far as the state is concerned. I'm still hanging my hat on about that 500,000 acres of spring wheat won't get planted. Right now, that's kind of what I would expect.
Corn planting progress in North Dakota is also 21% behind the 5-year average. Soybeans are 13% behind. So there could also be some prevent plant on those crops as well.
We do have a planting date of, I believe, the 25th of May, staring us in the face. That's 10 days away. And honestly, you can only go so fast. And I do think that there's a lot of incentive to take PP if you can. And I think farmers may avail themselves of that opportunity if that happens, given the low price structure that we currently have for corn.
However, Beadle thinks Minnesota will get most of their row crop acres planted, with soybeans only 7% behind the average pace in corn, actually ahead by 3%. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for AgDay.
All right, thanks, Michelle. The Biden administration is making what it calls a historic investment in clean energy across rural America. USDA announcing it plans to invest nearly $11 billion in grants and loans. The funding is available through 2 programs. First is the Empowering Rural America, or New Era program. It will make almost $10 billion available to rural electric cooperatives for renewable energy, zero emission, and carbon capture. There's also the Powering Affordable Clean Energy Program, or PACE, that will have $1 billion available in partially forgivable loans to renewable energy developers and electric service providers.
It allows more and more communities to harness the potential of clean energy for not only families, but their economic bottom line.
Money for the programs comes from the Inflation Reduction Act. USDA says it represents the single largest investment in rural electrification since the signing of the Rural Electrification Act of 1936. Meanwhile, the administration also announcing a plan that would allow conservationists and others to lease federally owned land. Now, the idea is that the land would be restored, the administration contending it would work much the same as oil companies buying leases to drill, or how ranchers pay to graze cattle. Some Republican lawmakers and others in the ag industry are against the plan, concerned it's a backdoor way of excluding mining, energy development, and agriculture. But the director of the Bureau of Land Management says the plan would make conservation an equal to grazing and drilling while not interfering with them. While the Bureau previously issued leases for conservation in limited cases, it has never had a dedicated program for it. Happening right now, the wheat tour is continuing, hitting several areas impacted by extreme drought. But there is a bit of good news. Parts of the nation's winter wheat crop did see some rain over the past week, and that helped to revive a portion of that crop. USDA reporting some improvements in condition ratings across much of the Great Plains. 29% of the crop now rated good to excellent. Now, that's the same as a week ago.
But if you look at the very poor to poor categories, we did see a modest improvement. Now 41% very poor to poor. That is an improvement from last week's 44%.
But there's been no change in the condition of the nation's top producer of winter wheat, Kansas, where 68% of the crop is rated in poor to very poor condition. And it looks like a big warm-up is on the way this week for many key planting areas. Meteorologist Matt Engelbrecht joins us with an update.
Yeah, you nailed it, Clint. When we look at what's going on in the long-term, even the short-term pattern, we're expecting some ridging, dominant ridging back up into the Dakotas the next couple of days into the weekend. And then if I take you out to May 21st through May 25th, a very similar pattern takes shape. So not expecting any big systems coming through anytime soon. So when you think the ridge of high pressure, you want to think clear skies, dry conditions, and the heat, especially as we start to build it day after day after day. Those temperatures just continue to moderate and warm up. The precipitation outlook, now we'll get a little bit of troughing back down here to the south. This is May 21st through the 25th. Now back into the Four Corner states. As you come back up here to the north, there's a chance of some wetter than normal conditions to go along with the heat that is going to be building during that same time frame. Drier than average into the Midwest, where there has been some showers the last couple of days, but could certainly use a little bit more. And how great is this? Check out 20-month-old Henry of Kentucky. His family says he loves watching AgDay with his mom and dad every evening. They say he really loves seeing all the colors on the weather map. Hey, that's what I do. Maybe we have a future meteorologist on our hands. I'll have more on your forecast coming up. Well, that is just adorable, Henry.
Brazil is now confirming its first cases of bird flu. The country's ag ministry saying it confirmed highly pathogenic avian influenza cases, but only in wild birds. The virus was discovered in 2 marine birds on the coast of Brazil's southeastern state of Espírito Santo. Officials say because the cases were detected in wild animals, its status as HPAI-free was not impacted. Now, Brazil is the world's top chicken exporter. And we continue to watch for developments regarding this as the Black Sea Grain Initiative is due to run out tomorrow. It appears some talks are continuing surrounding a possible extension. A Kremlin spokesman telling reporters that Moscow has a decision to make on whether to extend the deal. He says many questions linger relative to the Russian portion of that deal. Russia has said in the past it would not agree to extend the agreement until its demands regarding its exports of fertilizer and grain were met. USDA putting this dashboard together to show the importance of that Black Sea in the movement of ag goods around the world. For example, when it comes to wheat, Sierra Leone is 100% dependent on imports from the Black Sea region, with 28% of the country facing undernourishment. Grain markets fall hard on Tuesday as soybean oil trades at a 2-year low. We'll have details coming up next. And later, we go outdoors on the farm to Missouri, where Chip Flory discusses new revenue opportunities for landowners willing to share their wide open spaces. After making some gains to start the week, corn, soybeans, and wheat all slumped back. Michelle Rook dives into what's going on with Matt Bennett in this morning's Markets Now.
Grains traded mostly lower on Tuesday with the exception of spring wheat. Matt Bennett with agmarket.net is with us. And Matt, we saw a lot of speculative selling pressure, especially in soybeans on Tuesday. Some of that was kind of tied to risk off in the outside markets, wasn't it?
Yeah, you would have to think so. I mean, there wasn't a ton of news, as you and I talked earlier. Actually, you had no crush numbers out there. We already knew about them, but the bottom line is I've got to think that some of these fund managers are taking a look and saying, who knows? Maybe we're going to be in a situation where we kind of back off here for the time being. We all know that there's crush capacity coming. We're going to see even more soil sitting around. How much of that are we going to gobble up over the next year or two? That remains to be seen. But in the short run, it sure seems like the path of least resistance continues to be lower.
Yeah, soybeans obviously got hit the worst because soybean oil was down so hard, and that was really tied to what you talked about here with the crush figure and whatnot. And is that what pulled down corn, or are we also looking at spec selling just because it looks like, we're going to get this crop planted in pretty decent time?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, plantings have gone well. Second week in a row, you've had good plantings. I mean, not near the pace we saw last week as far as the week over week change, but certainly getting right along there, about 2/3 done. As far as I'm concerned, you're looking towards, for instance, some of your export markets, seeing some of the basis levels plummet, CIF market. Bottom line is this. I feel like there could be some sort of a cancellation on the way this week. I could be wrong, but there's not a whole lot of reasons to see, this basis weakening like we've seen. I'm a little bit concerned as to what we might learn over the next day or two, because we all know what these announcements of cancellations have meant the last couple of times we've seen them. So we got to hope that we don't get more bad news the rest of this week. But for right now, it certainly was a rough day.
No doubt. So does $12 hold in November beans, $5 in December corn, or not?
Well, that's a tough question. Ultimately, I don't believe so. As for right now, I could see that we could maybe catch hold. I mean, seasonally, this isn't the time of year where we're really plummeting. I mean, a lot of times we build a little bit of weather premium going into the heart of the growing season, but at the same time, there's been a lot of reasons, for us to move lower. The report last week certainly wasn't one that you would call friendly. But bottom line is, I've got to think that you hold for now. Ultimately, I don't believe so.
Okay, thanks for joining us. That is Matt Bennett, agmarket.net, and we'll have more Ag Day coming up.
To contact Matt Bennett at Ag Market, call 844-4AG-MARKET or visit their website at www.agmarket.net.
Oh, we're talking about Henry, all the different colors on the map. Check out this one. A lot of colors on here. What we want to avoid are the colors on the drought map. That's going to be released coming up on Thursday. Now, we look at the jet stream, what's going on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, kind of in that short term, and really the only cool air as well as the precipitation. It's going to be locked back up here to the north and the east as a ridge of high pressure builds back here towards the west. We'll call this a clipper system. Not all that strong. It's going to be pretty shallow. A different story if it was deep enough to dig down south and pick up a lot of Gulf moisture. That would spread a lot of rain back out here to the east. But this is going to come through with some rain chances and some cloud cover. Moisture starved is the best way to put it. Once that moves out, now the time frame that we looked at about 10 minutes ago starts to show up in the jet stream as early as Saturday. A big ridge starting to build back out here to the west and expanding to the east. So the hotter than average or warmer than average and drier than average pattern starts to set up as early as this weekend, and it will continue to be the case as we go pretty zonal with any kind of energy mainly riding more around the Canadian-United States border. And of course, we talk about Canada certainly needs the rainfall and a break in the heat, the record heat on the west coast and up into Canada because some of those wildfires that are burning. So again, this is a jet stream on Monday. Not a lot of big systems coming through, a very quiet pattern. That air is also going to be very heavy. It's going to suppress any precipitation or thunderstorm development. That does not mean we can't have any thunderstorms, but overall, we're going to be drier than average Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday across the nation. And you look at this jet stream, and there's really not much out there that's going to provide a big jump or a big push to get significant rainfall or even just some garden variety showers in and across the United States. There's a look at the precipitation outlook. So again, not all that bright or dark green. We want to look for the dark green for the wetter than normal. Very dry back out here to the Midwest as well. It's May 23rd through the 29th. Now for the next 24 hours or so, you got that weak clipper system moving towards the north with some showers, but very quiet through the United States, both through Thursday and also into our Friday. What's going on in Hawaii? Partly cloudy, high of 83 degrees. I can show this every day and it'll be the same out there in Honolulu. As for Clinton, sunny in Missouri, 82 degrees, low of 55. Knoxville, Tennessee, high around 80 with clear skies, lots of sunshine.
We'll learn some new ways of making money for landowners that are willing to share that story next. And later, new research into cat litter may yield big opportunities for soybean farmers. Details in the country. And hey, livestock producers, you'll want to check this out. Zoetis and Farm Journal want to recognize you and the big impact you have on feeding our communities. The Zoetis Freedom Recognition Sweepstakes by Farm Journal runs through Saturday, May 27th. You can register to win a special edition golf bag or the grand prize, an amazing American flag wall display that we will be giving away on air. Just scan that QR code on your screen right now, and you'll be taken to the sweepstakes entry form to enter for your chance to win.
Outdoors on the Farm is brought to you by Land Trust. Join our community of thousands of outdoor enthusiasts. Find properties, connect with landowners, and book an experience today. Learn more at landtrust.com.
Not all land on a farm or ranch is suitable for production agriculture, but often that land is great for wildlife. Today, Chip Flory goes outdoors on the farm to learn about other uses and potential revenue streams for landowners willing to share.
Welcome to Outdoors on the Farm. I'm Chip Flory. We are in northwest Missouri. This guy might look a little familiar to a lot of you. It's Andrew McCray. Andrew, how are you?
Good. How about you?
Absolutely good. You know, end of April, we're down here to do a little bit of turkey hunting. I'm interested in getting to know about your experience with Land Trust.
Well, we already have 3 properties with Land Trust and have already had a successful hunt, and so that's been great. We've really enjoyed the platform. It's been a great way to connect with other folks that are interested in hunting, and it's helped us be able to make connections and share a resource that we have here on the farm.
You have that creek down there.
There are people out there that are actively, of course, looking for places, and so if we can help provide that and maybe it makes a little extra income for the farm, that's great too.
Our game camp's somewhere right here, and we have birds on it. A couple weeks ago, and then those guys, like I said, got a couple times here earlier this week.
As a landowner, you've been around that land all the time, so you see the wildlife, but you sometimes don't see it from somebody else's perspective that's a hunter and realize, oh wow, this could be really a good resource and I never thought about it. So when they send somebody here to look at it, that's great.
Our team of landowner success managers are the boots on the ground. They're out visiting each and every property, talking with the landowners, helping them figure out how to get started, how they want to set it up, and what fits with their operation. And you want all the information that you can possibly have to set yourself up for success and to just ensure you have a good experience out there. And that's what, our team really tries to do with setting up game cams, taking new photos at different times of the year.
So we've had a bird right there.
They came and they've scouted, and then they have their trail cams up, and so that's been fun. I can see what's out there all the time, and so I'm getting those pictures, and then their platform is updating with those pictures. So yeah, I can play an active role in it, but I've got somebody that's helping me then be able to sell the property too.
On the farm and ranch side, most of our landowners are multi-generation farms and ranches, just like the one we're on today. And it gives them a new opportunity to generate some income while staying totally in control.
You start into something like this on your own, you have so many questions about, well, how do I handle liability or these types of things? Well, Land Trust, that's all taken care of. So I have a good partner to be able to take care of those things and partner me up then with somebody that's going to hunt.
And then, helping them get onboarded to the site. We do all that kind of work in the background to make sure, hey, this is it, ready to rock and roll for you. And then we push it live.
Tomorrow on Outdoors on the Farm, we're in northwest Missouri, getting ready to do a little bit of turkey hunting outdoors on Andrew McCray's farm.
All right, thanks, Chip. Well, when we come back, cat litter is a stinking necessity, but scientists are looking at new ways to make it with soybeans. Details next.
In the Country on Ag Day is brought to you by Pivot Bio. What if you had the nitrogen you need already on seed? Pivot Bio is the first company to apply nitrogen on seed. The nitrogen you need, now on seed, from Pivot Bio. Learn more at pivotbio.com.
Scientists are looking for new ways to utilize soy waste, and this one may be the perfect solution. Scientists with the Agricultural Research Service are working on a new biodegradable cat litter using soybean hulls. Now, they say their research shows the soy hulls help cut down on dust and the smell of cat urine One plant researcher said his team started looking into the idea after hearing from pet owners who wanted alternatives to sodium bentonite. That's the absorbent swelling clay used in traditional litters that clump. Now, currently, the U.S. generates more than 80 million pounds of soy hulls, which are used primarily in livestock feed. And that's all the time we have this morning. We're sure glad you tuned in. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Quentin Griffiths. Have a great day.